All right, we are live. Welcome, DoorGrow hackers, to the DoorGrow Show. If you are a property management entrepreneur that wants to add doors, make a difference, increase revenue, help others, impact lives, and you are interested in growing in business and life, and you're open to doing things a bit differently, then you are a DoorGrow hacker. DoorGrow hackers love the opportunities, daily variety, unique challenges, and freedom that property management brings. Many in real estate think you're crazy for doing it. You think they're crazy for not, because you realize that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management business owners and their businesses. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. I'm your host, property management growth expert, Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow. Now, let's get into the show. And my guest today is one of my clients, Brannon Potts. Brannon, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's good to have you. So, Brandon, you're a client that I really enjoy working with. One, because you just do what I tell you to do, and it works, and you're doing the right things. So I appreciate you as a client, because that's always fun for me, is to have clients that like believe in what we're doing and get it and do it. So, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about how you got into property management in the first place?
Sure. I think it was back, get the dates right, late 2016. We were actually doing well in our sales business, but had a friend give us some advice about getting into property management. And you say it even in the intro. At first, I didn't have just a great perception of property management. And but I said, okay, I'm going to get into this business, learn it. I didn't know it very much. I didn't know it really much at all, and we began to grow. And over these years, we grew a little bit, and happened to see one of your ads and started investigating and just said, you know what, I want to join this coaching. And I did. I just said, I really don't know very much about the property management business. And you have a background in coaching that. I said, just going to follow what he says, not question it, and just do it. And then I was going to hold your feet to the fire because you promised it and committed that if I did, you would refund my money.
Yeah.
But and I believed you, and I said, I'm just going to follow what he says, and I began to do that. And I still have so much more to go, because in your coaching, the depth of that coaching that you give, I think I'm only maybe touching on 10% of it right now, and I'm looking forward to actually many years to come of getting deeper and deeper and implementing all the things that you provide in coaching. Because I've been coached before. I've been actually a coach myself for the sales side. And what we've always been taught is when you teach people, typically only 10% implement what you're teaching. And I said, man, I don't want to be that 90% that doesn't. I want to be the 10% that does, and let the chips fall where they may, and begin doing exactly what you said, trying to follow it as closely as I could. And what do you know? It happens. We grow. We have probably at this point, we're either from the from the initial investment of the coaching, I bet you I'm trying to think, 3 4 times, maybe 5 times now, the dollars that we're generating from the coaching. So it was a great investment
Yeah. So you mean on a monthly basis?
on a monthly basis.
Yeah. So you've got way more residual income than what the program costs. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah. So I love that. And that's one of our initial goals with clients. Like, we want to get them paid, make sure the program's double paid for within hopefully the first 30 to 60 days is the goal, so that they can justify the expense and keep going. So, and then I guess you could say it's paying you now, right, to be
It's
part of the
truly,
program.
I mean, I've made money off of this coaching, and that's what everybody wants.
That's what good coaching or good marketing or good anything that you're going to pay for should give you an ROI, right? That means it's a good
Exactly.
investment. So I'm glad that you're getting a good return on your investment. That's our goal. So you brought up something that I think is interesting, that you've worked with a lot of coaches. I've worked with a lot of coaches too. Um, I think one thing that's a little bit different from me than maybe other coaches in the industry, but there's a lot of coaches out there that don't have coaches
Yes.
and they don't get coached themselves. And I think that's one of my competitive advantages, which is really simple, is that I pay for really expensive coaching and masterminds and high ticket things to be involved in so that I can turn around and have value to give to my clients. Like I just came back from a mastermind. I pay a lot of money to be in it. And I shared an idea today with the group that you thought was pretty cool. And so
I
we were
thought
talking about not focusing on referrals instead of referring to them as and asking for what did I say? I'll let you say it.
an introduction.
Yeah.
And that is an extra benefit, is not just taking the wisdom you already have, you're still pouring into yourself so that you
Mm,
have something to pour out. Because I think a lot of people um, stop getting things poured into them, but great people, great leaders, and great entrepreneurs need something poured into them so that they can pour out to others. We need that relationship to continue, and that's what I appreciate of your coaching. It's You're coaching, but you're still getting coached, and I'm getting the benefit of your expense of coaching,
yeah.
and you're adding extra value to us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not even going to say how much I spend on coaching a year right now, but it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm in two really high ticket masterminds, but for me, I love it because I get to hang out with the best. Like I'm talking business owners that are doing millions and millions of dollars. I was hanging out with people that are doing millions a month in business. Some are hitting 1 million a month or more. And these are the kind of people I get to hang out with. And like, I'd love to be able to learn. It's fun for me. So, and having a program in which I get to share that stuff, that's just even more fun for me because I love to share what I'm learning. That's just fun for me. So,
And then as soon
um,
as you brought that up, I went out and shared that with my team. Well, the ones that were here at the moment. And then I'm going to share that again on another meeting, of not asking for the referral, but asking for the introduction. There's just many layers to that of how good it is.
yeah, yeah. And we chatted about that on our group coaching call today. And for those that are not in our group, you're missing out. So Brandon, so what have you noticed since joining the program? I mean, you talked about some of the concerns you had coming in and some of the challenges you were dealing with. And you mentioned that you've made your money back, you've gotten some results. How does this compare or differ or relate to all the other coaching stuff that you've been involved in the past?
Well, Jason, I don't want you to get a big head, but it has been the best coaching I've had. And I talk about it all the time. I've been through several different coaches, both in the real estate side and just some life coaches. And the value you bring is multiple layers, and genuinely appreciate that, because that's what you teach us, is bringing value to people. And you do. And I would share this with anyone. This is not a sales pitch. This is true value you bring on so many different layers. And that's why I've shared in the past, and I've shared it even with my wife. I said, I see myself, I've only scratched the surface of the value you've already brought, and I see this for many years to come, that I plan to be a part of this, because it's not a cost, it's been an investment. And yes, we're talking about growing doors, but there's many other layers to the coaching of growing the business, and how you do that, from operations to people who you hire, what their duties are. This was exactly what I was looking for, because I did not have that knowledge, though I've succeeded at higher levels in a lot of ways in the real estate industry. These were the parts I didn't know, and I feel like I've still got so much more to learn.
I really appreciate that. Like that means a lot to me. I appreciate it. So for me, there's a lot. y- it's interesting to me because I've been in this business. I founded it, and we had some tough times. Starting this business out, and like me building a team. Like I've gone through the entrepreneurial life cycle and journey that I coach clients on, and I mean, DoorGrow, our company, has made so many changes, even in the last quarter. Like the slew of things that we get done, that are on our list for quarterly planning, is just amazing to me that we're able to accomplish. DoorGrow is not even the same company it was a year ago, not even close. And some clients maybe worked with us in the past or knew about us in the past, or maybe we just did a website for a long time ago. And DoorGrow is not even close to the same company. Some people are probably hearing you going operations and like this and like coaching, and they're like, what? And it's funny because people judge me and DoorGrow sometimes by who I was maybe 5 years ago or 2 years ago, or, even a year ago. And my personal development, um, aggression, I guess you could say, or
Yeah.
drive, and the level of the team members that I have, and the drive of the team, and how quickly we're able to make changes and implement, is pretty, it's pretty, I mean, I'm obviously biased, but I think it's pretty amazing. So
It
yeah,
is.
and
I
and
mean,
I
even
I think
speaking,
people should give us a chance that haven't been, with us for a while. Our new mastermind is just really awesome, and I think people are really crushing it, which is really fun to see.
and the connections you make in that coaching group. There's several people that I've made connections with that will be valuable for the future. And just collaborating, or hey, I'm having this struggle. How have you handled it? There's so much value, and I agree. It's even in the, what is it, 5 months now I've been in the program. It's changed and added more layers to it. But that's because of your growth. You didn't stay stagnant. You're still growing yourself and have something to pour out
Well,
continually.
I'd feel guilty if I took even the majority of the credit. Like my operator Sarah, also my fiance, she's moved the needle significantly in this business. Adam over fulfillment, Ashley, who's over client success. Like we've got some amazing people on my team, and they're moving most of the objectives forward that we have each quarter, and it's been just awesome to see. And that's, part of the DoorGrow OS planning system that we've got, and that sort of thing. We've got like 90 members in the mastermind. So I appreciate that you brought up community, because that's a big focus of ours moving forward this quarter. Is we're really trying to focus on improving the community aspect. A lot of people join for the content and DoorGrow Academy and the material that we have and the ideas. And then people win because of the coaching, but people generally in a program will stay because of the community and the connection and the benefits of having that camaraderie. Because, being an entrepreneur can be a lonely journey without being connected to others. So we're really focused on that, improving that. In fact, we've got about 90 members in the mastermind, 90 businesses, which is probably about, we probably have on average about 2 people per business. So we've got probably about somewhere close to 200 people in the program, I think, that are kind of actively involved. We have, we haven't really grown, honestly, for the last maybe 2, 3 months, which is kind of weird, but we've been filtering a lot of people out. We've been really trying to make sure people are active and engaged and shaking the tree, so to speak. Some of the people that weren't really engaged or active, in our outreach and stuff, have like dropped off while we've been adding people, but we've cleaned that up. So like the program's really clean. And so I'm really excited about the community aspect, because most of the people now are all pretty much engaged and in at least on one of the calls, and doing their check-ins and moving forward. So I think, even though the group is still about the same size, it's been for a little while, it's a lot mightier. So we're really excited about that. And now that it's cleaned out, now we're going to be adding, I think, a lot of people that are going to be staying in the program a lot longer, and it'll be, even we're going to be growing for sure. So yeah. So Brandon, what do you feel like are some of the the most significant things that you've got out of it so far? Because a lot of people hear you probably saying, "Hey, DoorGrow is great, coaching's great," but and you mentioned, you're making more money. What are some of the key things that really have stood out to you that you're like, "Hey, like this is different, or this is interesting, or that you've really valued?"
I think a couple of things. I mean, there are multiple layers. So I could talk about this for a while, but the key things initially were how to lead generate that didn't cost money. And sometimes you hear that and you think, oh, this is just a sales pitch. It was very genuine and it was very good. And I implemented that. So the only cost was my time
Mm.
and just following through with what the coaching did. And that added the doors very quickly. The second was helping design a pricing plan and how
Mm.
to put that together. Um, I implemented one of the plans, the hybrid plan that you discuss, and implemented that and began to sell that. And through selling it, I've shared this in our mastermind how I sell that,
Mm.
and I'm seeing how it resonates with owners, and just those two things alone made those two changes that we made alone made money. Those are just the two things initially, and then you offer other things that we're beginning to tap into. And right now it's there's so much there. The content I can only absorb so much at the moment, and I'm trying to fully implement those well. But that also gives me a path for several years to come of things that I'll be able to dive deeper into different sections of what all you offer and implement those. So I see a path. But those two things alone were the big key movers, which you steer people to, of that doing that lead generation first, and then begin some other the pricing and other things. So those two were the big steps that made it an investment and made us money.
Yeah, for those that, if any of my competitors are listening and they want to get some, figure out how to steal some of the magic from DoorGrow, we focus on two main things with clients. And you can probably feel this. I don't think you've heard me mention this, Brandon, but one of our big goals within the first, 30 to 60 days is we want to make sure clients have really strong clarity on what the future holds for them, like what direction to go in. And we give them a
Yeah.
really so we have our clarity assessments we take you through. So you know clearly which path. We have 3 different paths we take people down, depending on which thing is their biggest problem in the business right now. And we focus on pain first. So we get them clarity on what they want and where the pain is, and then results. So we want to get them as quickly and as effortlessly as possible to the results. So we're giving you the scripts, the language, the outreach, like all the different things to do. And you mentioned lead gen without spending money. And I know a lot of people are thinking, well, I'd rather just spend money. I'd rather just spend money because it would save me time, is what they think. What would you say to that?
That boy, that's a cost. That's that's not an investment. This is a deeper level of long-term residual um, lead generation, so that what you teach in the coaching pays dividends not just now, but in the future. It continues to pay residual dividends, and you haven't spent any money on it. Because the big thing in starting a property management company or starting any company is to generate revenue before expenses. And it fit with the principles of that is
Mm.
generating that revenue before you have any hard costs, which help you get profitable better and faster. Then you can have money to maybe generate to do other things to grow it even faster.
Yeah, I mean, there's several things we focus on with clients. We want to decrease the expenses in the business. So we talk about how to, like a lot of property managers, we mentioned this on today's call, right? Like a lot of property managers, it's not about what they need to do more of or add more of in the business. It's about some of the things they need to eliminate that they are doing.
Yeah.
And then we get into, the lead gen piece. a lot of people mistakenly think that they can generate more leads by doing advertising or paid advertising, but that actually are colder leads that take more time. So we've actually decreased your time investment into lead generation, and we've zeroed out the costs.
And usually it's a better quality
And
person.
it's an absolutely better quality lead, right? The conversion rate's way higher because we're focusing on warmer lead generation. And the other thing that I think is kind of a secret is that you're creating market share while other property managers are fighting over the small amount of existing market share that exists. They're all in the red water. It's ugly and bloody, and there's a lot of scarcity. And I'm guessing you don't really feel much scarcity in growing your property management business.
Not at all. It's doing so well. There's moments we have to just pause for a few minutes to absorb all the new clients coming on board so that we handle them, well. It's it's not from lack of business coming in now from this lead gen source. It's making sure that we handle them effectively, and we talk about this in the coaching too, of how to handle the operations when all this business comes, and how to handle it effectively and efficiently.
It's one of my favorite problems to do is make the growth become so uncomfortable and painful that, and then we shift to solving that problem.
Right.
Everybody wants that problem, but we want to create that problem for our clients, that they're having so much growth that it's gotten uncomfortable and they have to start hiring and scaling their systems. So, and then, pricing strategy. We talk about, like you mentioned, the hybrid pricing. Initially, I got the idea from Scott Brady. He's a really sharp entrepreneur. And then we've kind of put our own nuance and spin to it to make sure that people do it effectively. So it's psychologically really effective. And that's been really, really great for our clients that are starting to implement that. So, and you're right. There's a lot more in the program. I'm excited for you to get into some of the other stuff and get through it because, I love seeing clients get all these different pieces dialed in because the speed at which the company moves forward is rapid. Now, a lot of people, a lot of property managers are already burnt out. They're already burnt out in their business. They're not enjoying it, which I would normally say they're just doing it wrong. But that's, I think, also one of the key things that we focus on at DoorGrow is not just building a business that just gets more crazy and more hectic and moves faster, that you enjoy less and less, which is typical. Most get to 200 to 400 doors and they're burnt out. They're micromanaging their team. They hate their day to day.
You talk about both growing with quantity, but also growing with quality and creating a quality life too.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So our primary focus is on, I call it the 4 reasons. I've done a previous podcast episode on that. Yeah, for those listening, you can go back and listen to that. That's our primary goal, is to move people towards the 4 reasons of more fulfillment, more freedom, more contribution, and more support. And as you've been building your business, it could get uglier and more painful, but we always try to make sure that the client understands that that's the wrong way to do it. Like, we can get you more support and make it more fun, and you do less and less in the business. So,
And that's what I learn and listen from as it scales, how to scale it. And you share this in the coaching, how to scale it properly so that you don't get burnt out. So I'm aware of that, and want to make sure that that happens, not just for me, but y'all also share how to do that for your team too, and how to the positions and the different times to hire and how to do that effectively. So it's not just for the owner, but it's how to create quality for everyone.
So you've seen some results in the program. What do you feel like your team's perspective of all this movement and change has been, and maybe even your spouse? Like, how is this kind of rippling out around you? Is this creating some pain and problems for people around you, or how do they feel about all this?
Well, Jason, you'll appreciate it. I use a lot of your quotes at home. But when you're hearing good things, you want to share it. So I would say we're growing, and I think the team. I know the team is all on board, and they're excited about the growth. But as any good growth, there is stretching, and you have to go through that stretching process that makes you better. But you've provided several good things that help the team that I'm using to help them get through the stretching with the growth that we're having. And we'll take this problem of growth, as we all remember the Great Recession, and we were begging to be busy. I keep
Mm.
stay mindful of that, of being grateful that we are, and would not take the other side of that, of not being busy. So I keep that in mind, and I encourage the team, and they're encouraged by the growth too. They're very excited. Even our sales team notices it, and they're like, "Man, maybe I should be on that side of the business." They get really excited about it.
Well, what's one thing you feel like you could share maybe with the audience, people that aren't in the program that might benefit them, that is maybe something that you learned in the program, or, maybe just a mindset shift or a takeaway or something that might be helpful to those that are listening.
Boy, that's there's so
No,
many.
those that are struggling, maybe there's what feedback or idea would you want to share with them?
I think, looking for referrals from agents that are
Mm,
working in the multifamily or property industry, that are selling investments. That has helped us quite a bit. But what's been beneficial in the coaching is you've given a great template of a script of how to do it, that is genuine, that really flows well, and is right in line with great, building high trust with clients and with agents. That's been number one benefit of the coaching, is not just that idea, but then even giving a practical script that really works. We've
mm.
been in coaching, we've all been in different programs where we'll see uh, a script that is just not realistic because that person doesn't do it. Your script is genuinely realistic, and it
Yeah.
works. I tested it. It worked. I went line by line, even had the script in front of me as I'm going through it, but
Yeah.
how it flowed, and it really flowed genuine and real, and generated referrals that day.
That was actually one of those moments. We have these moments as coaches where we kind of feel like it's similar to as being a dad and seeing your kid, get an award or do something. But one of those moments for me was when you sent me your call recording and you just did you followed the script. Cause I get a lot of call recordings from clients and they don't follow the script. They either don't feel confident doing it that way, or they say it different, or they think they're trying to be cute or clever. And then I'm coaching them, like, stop saying, and stop saying kinda and maybe, like, show confidence. And I'm like, just do like, and you just followed the script, and it went so beautifully. And that was just really rewarding to me to be able to hear that and go like, yes, it worked. And hear that result like real time is really cool.
I think I came into the coaching with the mindset, and I thought of that 90-10 principle, and I said, I am going to be the 10%.
Mm,
You know, sink or sink or swim. I'm going to be the 10%, and I'm just going to follow it and let it go where it went. But the beauty of it is it went well, and it would for anyone that followed. Because we all know, as we coach or teach, the ones that just say, hey, I'm going to be humble, and I'm just going to do what you say, and let's see what happens. It generally works.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I'd love to tell clients like, "Hey, it's proven. If Brandon can do it, anybody else can do it too."
That's
Brandon's not any smarter or cooler than anybody else in our program, other than the fact that he does the work and he does what we tell him to do. And that makes you, I think, pretty smart and pretty cool. So I appreciate you, Brandon. So, well, cool. I appreciate you coming, taking some time out of your day to be here on the DoorGrow Show and on the podcast. For those that are, on the fence, thinking about DoorGrow, maybe they've heard about DoorGrow, a year ago or 5 years ago or in the past. What would you say to them now? You're on the other side of the paywall. You see what's going on in the community. What would you say?
you might not like this, but I think it's so good. Sometimes I wouldn't want to tell anybody because it's so good for people. It,
You
I
know,
mean,
I've heard that quite a bit, which is really funny. Like, I want everyone to do it except my competition.
that's it. It is.
Right. So,
It's the secret.
which market are you in, Brandon?
What?
Which market are you in?
We're in North Texas.
All right. So if you're in North Texas, Brandon says, do not do the door grow thing. It's not going to work out for you, probably.
That's
But
right.
everybody else should totally join this program. Does that
But
sound
for
accurate?
North Texas property managers, and there's plenty of business for all of us.
There is. I mean, that's something I think that we're really big on the program. You're not in the red water feeling scarcity, fighting with other property managers. There's 70% are self-managing. There's tons of available potential business out there. And you've been able to tap into that tap and you're getting plenty from it. And there's plenty of business out there. So very cool. Well, Brandon, appreciate you being a client, appreciate you taking time out. And anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, I think I've covered quite a bit myself.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Brandon. All right, so for those that are, that have been listening to this and you're curious or interested in DoorGrow, you can reach out to us. And if you want to kind of test the waters a little bit and get familiar with this, because maybe this is the first time you've heard about us for some reason, join our Facebook group. Go to doorgrowclub.com. Videos like this get pushed into the group. I do live streams multiple times a week now, sharing concepts and ideas. My goal and job is to prove to you that we have some value to offer to you. Once you get beyond the paywall, there's even more. And so join the DoorGrow Club. You can go to doorgrowclub.com to get to our Facebook group. The other thing that I would recommend is just go to doorgrow.com if you're curious and you want to set up a call and talk to my sales team. They will listen to you. I have great people on the team. They really care about our vision of helping property managers. And so if you're struggling with some issues, some challenges, bring it up to them, talk with them, and they will help you see if there's a path in which we can help you deal with those challenges, whether it's you're just not enjoying your day-to-day, you're struggling with your team and with operations, you're struggling to figure out how to add doors and grow your business, you hate your website, you don't like your brand. Like, we can help solve these problems for you, and they'll help you see how we can do that. And they'll also give you access to our 7 frameworks training, so you can see 7 different growth frameworks and really shift your mindset out of the idea that you need cold leads and you need to do advertising and you spend a bunch of money on marketing. We'll shift you out of that and help you see why that mindset actually has been hurting your growth, and will benefit you and get you moving forward. So, and that's it for today. So until next time, everybody, to our mutual growth, uh, you know, reach out to DoorGrow and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.